see. PS4. Fixed PS3. Cleaned out the, well, stripped it down, opened it up and cleaned out the fan. And the GPU and all that as such. So that's all cleaned out. So I've been using that for playing old PS1 games, and I bought the Resident Evil collection a while back. So PS4 as usual, Mega Drive, various plugs and stuff which I'm trying to sort out as we speak. Nintendo Wii has not been used a great deal, but it is possibly going to get used at some point. And yeah, just the usual stuff really. But it is a bit cluttered at the moment as I'm trying to sort things out. PC. Managed to get it up and running. Finished it a few videos back, I think it was. Running on a Ryzen 1700X. I was able to get it up to, I think it was 3.8 gigahertz in the end. The RAM was a pain in the ass though. Getting it to, how was it, 3200? I can only get it to 2966 in the end. I've probably repeated this in a previous video, as you can see. And yes, if you can see this video, you probably notice there's a bent USB. That would be my mouse, which it's pretty much totaled. So I need a wireless one because I continue to trip over my store. As you can see, there's the box for the PS3, and I have actually got a 360, but it's currently packed away in its box, as you can see. So, Dead Space 2. Not many particularly rare games, to be honest. That's very good. That's well recommended if you're a Sega Mega Drive or Genesis fan. There's a great deal of games on that. Splinter Cell, not a bad game at all. First Splinter Cell game I think I ever played, and I think it's the only one I have to this date ever played. It's good. The co-op has an interesting ending, let's just put it that way. Turok, brother bought me this game a while back, I think it was, a few years back. Hasn't got great reviews, it's okay. Never a massive fan of Turok. Mass Effect 2, manual disc, the whole shebang. It's actually my brother's. Played a little bit of it. Very, very good game, but a lot of time sort of needs investing in it to actually get into it. Dragon Age Origins, I played a bit on the PC. It's not bad, but again, I can't get into those type of games because of the combat. If the combat's crap, it just puts me off. Sonic Generations, love the 2D stuff. Could care less about 3D, to be honest, but excellent game for what it is. Gears of War. This series is a series of games I came to appreciate much more the more I played them. Probably 2 or maybe 3 was probably the one that I found the most fun to play through. But a very good game. I sunk must have been 30-40 hours into this. Arkham Asylum. Is the disc in there? It is, but the disc... Oh. This is really annoying. When the little plastic bits break, you see. So, disc seems to be in good nick still. Very, very good game. I have the rest of the series I've got it on Steam, PC. So, and that would be Arkham... No, sorry, not all of it. Arkham City and Arkham Origins, which is a buggy piece of shit, to say the least. But the game was actually quite good. Although I do remember fighting the first boss and the... Was it the Croc in Arkham Origins? I can't remember if it was the Croc or whatever it was. He proceeded to disappear on me during the game. Yes, I have Call of Duty. It's a good game. Multiplayer around zombies is very, very good. Never ever played through the campaign because Can't stand campaigns on Call of Duty. I just find them really generic and boring. Gears of War Judgment. Not such a loved Gears of War game from everything I've read. Sort of a side story. I believe this takes place at the same time as, I believe it's Gears of War 3, but pretty good. Good fun. I've got a series of games on the 360 digital as well, but those are my physical 360 games. Anyway. SimCity. This is a series of PC games I've got. Not sure why I bought this, because, well, I buy most things digitally now, so I don't know why I've got all these games physically, but not a bad game, but a lot of issues, problems with EA. I won't go into it because I'm sure by now you probably know the stories of how EA sunk SimCity. Well, Max, is it Maxis? Yeah, technically. So, not the best day for EA, and not the best day at the moment for EA of late. I had to put these games on the list just due to the fact that I love these games. Diablo 2. I mean, this isn't my original copy. I had one of this one when I emigrated to New Zealand many years ago, and I gave it to a mate. So, Diablo. What can you say? Diablo's awesome. Game I've never played until 2010, StarCraft 2. The artwork on this is sublime. It really is absolutely sublime. It's just the standard edition, nothing particularly that special about it, but you know, Blizzard do put a lot of effort into their games, and I do actually have the second one, which is, I think it's Heart of the Swarm on Blizzard. So very good game. But very bleeding hard, to say the least. Diablo 3, yep. Again, I don't know why I bought these physical copies, but I did. Again, artwork, kind of sublime. Diablo had a lot of issues when this game first released. It's a fantastic game now that they've got all the issues out of the way. But I definitely recommend that. It's dirt cheap now, and it's on console as well, so everyone gets to play it, which is the best of both worlds. Again, Reaper of Souls, same sort of thing. Expansion. They really do put a lot of effort into their artwork. Although I haven't played the Necromancer in Diablo 3, which I believe is about 12 quid, I think. But again, it's about 20 quid to buy at some point. Well worth it. And again, very good. Now we come on to probably my favourites. Probably my favourite PC games, in fact. I've just picked up Dawn of War 3, and I was a bit disappointed, to say the least. I've only played through the campaign there, so I haven't finished it yet, so I can't say it's terrible yet, but it just, I don't know, it lacks. I don't know if it's passion, there's just something it's lacking. Dawn of War, 2004. Wow, $32.99. Oh no, $29.99, discount £3. The Sims 2 out 17th of December. And that was 25th of the 8th, 2004. So if you are into Dawn of War, this is probably the best game to play, to be honest. Awesome. Bit dated graphically by today's standards, but really good. Now, as I said, I spent some time in New Zealand, so these were bought in New Zealand. as you can see, the case is a bit tatty. And that's the full game. Really, really good expansion. And you got to play the Guardsman, which is actually really, really good. A lot of different units, and the tanks the Imperial Guard have got are just awesome. Really, really awesome. And that was at the warehouse in Rotorua in New Zealand, so shout out to Rotorua. Possibly my favourite of the expansions, Dark Crusade. The word brilliant doesn't even it's just brilliant. It's just an awesome expansion. Now if you have this on its own, you can only play as a Tau and Necrons, I believe. But with the other expansions, you get Space Marines, Eldar, Chaos, Orcs. I'm forgetting one, aren't I? Guardsmen. I think that's it. Just absolutely awesome. Oh, and Tau. Did I say Tau? I think I said Tau, yeah. Came back from UK. I came back to the UK and got this when I came back. Soulstorm's a bit of a weak expansion from what I've played of it. Couple of new units, nothing particularly extra. But there's a mod specifically for this game called, is it the Apocalypse mod? I think it's something like that. I think it's the Apocalypse, and the mod adds in all the units that are in Warhammer today, essentially, and it's really, really good. Although it does make the game engine struggles a bit under it, but it runs okay, and you get all the most up-to-date units, so well worth it. Dawn of War 2, very, very different to the first Dawn of War game, and in a really, really good way. Like upgradable war gear, leveling system, and it's challenging to say the least. There's some challenging stuff in that game, and you get to see the Tyranids for the first time, which is always cool. Though they are modded in, I believe, on Dawn of War 1 now, but that's the first game I ever saw the Tyranids in. Chaos Rising, yeah, games for Windows Live. Just pretend that's not there, because that's not even used anymore. And thank God for it, because it was terrible. And that one allows you can take the path of chaos, and you can corrupt your squads, and it gives them abilities that they can heal straight away, and there's all sorts of different little things you can do on it. It was really, really good, and well worth it. Civilization 5, again, I'm not sure why I bought the disc version of this, because I don't know, I just don't know. I'm not exactly sure why I bought the disc version, but because most of these games are all, codes anyway now, so it doesn't matter if you have the physical copy. It's a disc that essentially does nothing, essentially, but good for what it is. Now let's get on to some classic games, shall we? We will start with, I don't have a lot, Nintendo, GameCube and Wii. And this is going to be short, so I'll get straight to the point. Only Wii game I have. No, I actually have some others actually, but they're not mine, they're my sister's, and they're shovelware crap like Dance Dance Revolution, that kind of stuff. But if you're into that sort of stuff, fair enough. It's in pretty good nick. I think it was about £11-12. It's very, very good. The problem is I never ever touch the Wii. Very rarely do I actually get the Wii out. And to be honest, I only got it because I've only got a Wii because my sister emigrated to Australia a few years back, and she said you can have it. So I was like, okay, cool. So, good game. I have. This is awesome. This is the remake of Resident Evil. That's my brother. Remake of Resident Evil on the GameCube. I have this twice. I've also got a copy of this on PS4. So it's just basically a HD edition of this game, but it's really, really good. And there's also Resident Evil 0, which is also available on Cube, and in fact all the PS1 games are as well. I don't know if there's any difference in terms of the resolution and the graphics and stuff, but from everything I've seen it's exactly the same. And as you can see, little cute little GameCube discs. I always find the GameCube to be very, very unique system. Of course, you can't have Nintendo and GameCube without Legend of Zelda. And this is going for a fair bit of money on eBay now. I think last time I looked it was... oh, must be in the £20 at least, maybe more. And you've got Wind Waker, and you've also got Ocarina of Time. There's two versions of Ocarina, there's a normal and there's a Master Quest, and this is the one I used when I did the recordings for Zelda, when I was doing it on the channel. Unfortunately, Nintendo are one of the worst for copyright claiming shite all the time, so I don't really bother with Nintendo content anymore, but it's enjoyable stuff, to say the least. It's just a shame Nintendo haven't quite joined the 21st century. They're getting there though. They've got a digital store coming up, so that's impressive in itself. Right, sticking with Nintendo, let's go even further back, shall we? We'll go back to... these aren't anything particularly rare. We have Lilac Wars, which is Star Fox 64. I haven't got the case, unfortunately, anymore. It came in a massive box. I still have the Rumble pack, although I have no idea where it is. V Riley 1999. Possibly one of the most boring games I've ever played. Though, apparently it's quite good. And I never understand why they don't have things on the top, like labels. But, yeah, that's just a gripe, I suppose. Another awful racing game. Terrible. Well, to be honest, the game isn't that bad. It's the controls just suck. I think I spent about, between V-Rally and that, I spent 50 quid, 60 quid on these games, maybe more. But I said Lilac Wars was like £60 in a massive big box with a Rumble pack. So did this game a while back on the channel, Mission Impossible. Not great, but not the worst. Just sort of, just meh, really, to be honest with you. The one that I first played, apart from Lilac Wars or Star Fox, depending on where you are in the world, GoldenEye. The word brilliant, I mean, it's aged by today's standards. It's not looking exactly hot anymore, but it came with a 64, which is up there, I think. It came with a gold controller and just a standard 64, but awesome. Pokemon Stadium. Got this one quite late in the N64's life cycle. I think it's about 2000, I think. Sorry, the focus is a bit iffy on it. Again, I have the manual somewhere. I'm just not sure where off the top of my head. But, very good. And yes, before anybody asks, yes, I have the transfer pack. Unfortunately, most of my Pokemon games don't work, the Game Boy games. I've got a copy of Silver, and I've got one copy of Blue, which is, again, is my brother's. I have a Red and a Yellow, but they don't work anymore, very sadly. So, replacement at some point, most probably. But for now, it's Nintendo. Now, PS4, I don't have anything physical for PS4. Everything is digital. Which is a shame in a way, but I just ain't got the space. PS3, Wolverine. Better than the film, ironically. And very, very violent as well. But good fun. This one I got a few years back from a friend. Red Dead, the copy I had a few years back actually sold, so at some point I'll actually play that. Metal Gear Solid 4. What can you say? It's it, I'd say it's one of the weaker Metal Gears personally, but there is one point in this game that's absolutely amazing, and that is when we get back to Shadow Moses. That's just awesome. Resistance. I didn't like this game very much. It's a good company. They've made some good stuff since, but I don't know. I just wasn't that impressed with it. But I believe this is a release game of PS3 when it first came out. I've been picking up old games, a few old games, and I don't know why I wanted this, but I used to play it and I used to hate it but love it at the same time. Jedi Power Battles. One of the glitchiest, worst, best games I've played on my PS1. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much, but I don't know, I just did. Very challenging though, very challenging. And that's pretty much my game collection, as in modern games anyway. And I forgot to include this. This is the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. Unfortunately, the box is very tatty, sadly. But I had the choice of this or Metal Gear Solid back in 97 or 98, it must have been, something like that. I said the box is in not the best condition. Cartridge, not the best, certainly not the worst. And the manuals, unfortunately, these are, I'll be done. Oh, again, not in the best condition, unfortunately. There's a Stadium manual and Ocarina of Time. I miss manuals. They're not really in games anymore. Kinda cool. But yeah, I wanted to just include that because I just found it. I was like, oh. Note to kiddies all around the world, if you've got stuff, look after it, because one day, regardless of whether it's actually worth any money, it might be worth something. Sadly, I didn't look after the box on this particular game, so it's not in the best of conditions. But, you know, I suppose as a child you don't really care about stuff like that, but as an adult, I care a little bit more. Anyway, yeah, so that's Collector's Edition of Ocarina of Time.